This is my second video for the extra credit for college algebra, and we're starting off with factoring by grouping. So let's get started. Now we have x to the fifth plus 2x cubed plus x squared plus 2. And now let's split the screen in half here. Or maybe this line's a little too long. There we go. And get started. So obviously we can take out x cubed from here and get x cubed times x squared plus 2. And obviously we can't take out anything from x squared plus 2, so we'll just bring it down here, x squared plus 2. And looky there. And basically this is times 1, but which is important because it's going to be used later on, right here when we have our solution. And so our answer is going to come out to be x squared plus 2, of course, because it's on both of these sides, but also x cubed plus 1, and that's why the 1 is important here, because of the fact that we have the 1 outside, and it's going to be included in the equation. Now we're about to do a simple factoring problem. So we have 2y cubed, let me fix the 2 here, minus 7y squared minus 15y. And of course we can take y out of all of this, so we end up with 2y squared minus 7y minus 15. And we can just use the asterisk method right here. And so we'll multiply the 15 and the 2 and get 30 here, or negative 30 because it's negative 15. And we have negative 7 here. And now let's think, what would factor to get negative 7 from 30? But before we do that, I'm just going to go ahead and write in our little 2's, because 2 go here in the asterisk method. Now, let's think of the multiples of 30. We have 5 and 6, which will not equal 7. We have 2 and 15, which do not equal 7. But wait a minute, we have 3 and 10. And so we'll go positive 3 and negative 10. And our answer is going to come out to be 2x, let me fix this, 2x plus 3 times, and since this is able to reduce to 1/5, we'll have x minus 5. And here is our answer. Okay, so now we're starting P.5, and we're going to begin with this problem, x plus 1 over 2x plus 1. And we're trying to find out if this would be, trying to find the domain of this expression. And to do that, we have to try and see how many real numbers there are. And for this kind of problem, to check the real numbers, we'd see what on the denominator would make it 0, because that would not be an equal. So, if we think about it, almost every number here could work except 2 times negative 1/2, which would end up equaling negative 1, and negative 1 plus 1 equals 0. And that will not work. So we can say x cannot equal negative 1/2. And there is our answer. Okay, for this next problem, we're going to be finding the rational expression in simplest form. And so we have x squared plus 8x minus 20 over x squared plus 11x plus 10. And at first it seems like a big problem. Oh my, fraction of polynomials, but it's not actually that big when we factor it. So let's do that. Let's factor it. So that would be, and we could use the asterisk method, but it's easier because we can tell what would. So what from negative 20 would equal 8? Well, we have positive 10, so we would have x plus 10 and x minus 2, and we get a negative 20 from there, but when we add them, we get positive 8. So there's that. And then, with x plus 1, oh, sorry, jumping ahead there, a little bit of a sneak peek, but with x squared plus 11x plus 10, if we have x plus 1 and x plus 10, we get the wanted effect of x plus 11 if we were to FOIL. So now that we've gotten here, everything becomes a little bit simpler because we can cross off these x plus 10 and we get an answer of x minus 2 over x plus 1. But wait, there's more. We need to tell, like in the previous one, what would the domain be, and the easiest way to do that is just to come back to this part of the problem, and as we can see, x could not equal negative 1 and x cannot equal negative 10. And there is our full answer. And let's do our last problem of this section. Now we have addition and subtraction of linear equations that are fractions. And now this sounds a little complicated, but it's not as hard as it sounds. So let's get started. We have 2x minus 1 over x plus 3 plus 1 minus x over x plus 3. It's an ugly plus sign. X plus 3. Here we go. And this is actually very easy because of the fact that we have a common denominator, which are these terms right here on the bottom of the fraction. And so with a common denominator, we don't have to do any extra steps. We can just add what's here on the top and get our answer. So let's do that. Now 2x plus minus x, and remember it's minus x because the negative is in front of the x. We have, of course, 1x because essentially this is just 1 times x. Now we of course have our common denominator of x plus 3, but wait, we have to go back to the original problem and look at the fact there's a negative 1 plus a positive 1, which would mean it would equal 0. So we could say plus 0, but we're keeping it in simplest form, so we're not going to. And we can go ahead and box our answer. But wait, remember there's more because we have to make sure that we show the domain, and the domain is that x cannot equal negative 3. And we're done. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you.